How's it going? I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to make this quick video for my CHSF 2106 students. That number always gets me for some reason, even though it's right on the screen. I could have read it. I wanted to make this quick video to just kind of go over some due dates, a little bit of information about the quiz and assignments, and just some general course details to hopefully just be a little bit more concrete, because I know I've mentioned this stuff but haven't really went fully into it. So I want to make this video to hopefully be kind of helpful and help people kind of orient themselves for this course in this term. And hope you're doing well today. And yeah, let's get into it. So for this course, we're using this book called Essentials of Lifespan Development by Santrock, and I think this is a really solid book in the field of developmental psychology. And I picked it. I had the ability to choose the text for this class, which was awesome. So I really think this is this is the book I would pick if I'm teaching a developmental psych course like this. And I think one push for maybe getting it would be the fact that if you're going to take CHSF 2107 next term, we're using the same book, and we're kind of doing this book over 2 courses. But again, it's like, I make this point on the next slide, but depending on your current financial situation, you can survive the course without the textbook, but it's going to become then very imperative that you watch all the recordings carefully and take good notes. Okay, but this is a good textbook, so I'm kind of trying to say both sides of it. I think it's a good book, but you can also survive without it, but it's also good for your kind of personal library if you are big into things like developmental psych and child development. Okay, there's my kind of neutral push, and then I did a short video showing you kind of like the purchasing options on the textbook website. So that's coming up next. Okay, so I think this is gonna work. So I got this screen recorder going now, and I want to just show you, I'm gonna give you a link to the publisher, McGraw-Hill, in the textbook, because I've heard some people are having trouble with the, I kind of mentioned this already, but with the bookstore and with getting the link. So I want to just sort of show an option. And I know we're a couple weeks in, but I also want you to know that when we're starting this information, I'm going to start really doing chapter quizzes on. So like, for example, this week we're going to be talking about the first assignments. There's no chapter for this week. So next week's sort of going to be the first chapter that you're quizzed on. And I tried to set up the quizzes and tests in this course so they're not too overwhelming. They're not, they're kind of like consume some content, get tested on it, move on. Consume some content, get tested on it, move on. And so the whole reason for that rant is to say, even though we're starting the 3rd week in the course, it would still make sense to consider getting this book because of the fact that we still have a lot of specific chapters to cover, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in this course. And we're going to do the rest of the book if you're taking the winter version. Now, having said that, it's really up to you. And I understand that I was a student for a very long time, and I understand the economic realities of being a student. And if anyone's like having those kind of issues, if you're watching all the lectures and you're paying attention, you're taking notes, you're going to be fine. Now, the book is good. I tried to pick, this is brand new, and this is Santrock, and I don't know the other 2 people at Mackenzie and Monlock as much, but John Santrock is like, this is the developmental psychology textbook, in my opinion. I was able to pick the book, and I think it is really solid. Okay, so keep both those in your head at the same time. Number one, I'm saying that you could survive the course without, because I'm trying to be reasonable and also understand that people are in all kinds of different situations. Having said that, though, this is a good book and it will be helpful. Okay, I think that's been kind of clear on that. So what I want to show here is just the purchase options, right? So again, if you send this video to your bookstore, they're probably not going to love me getting it straight from the publisher, because I don't know, but you're not finding it at their bookstore. So what are we supposed to do, right? So I think you have a couple options. Number one, you could get it straight from Connect. I mean, you could just get the Connect, which is probably one of the 2 options I'd recommend, because with this one, you're going to get the ebook, you're going to get access to their Connect, which is sort of like a resource website with a lot of kind of resources related to it. This course, you don't need that access, but they have a lot of cool things. They have this like quest game. They have a whole lot of interesting resources there. And one thing that I like is that you get the Read Anywhere app. access. So you can, I don't know how you like to consume content, but for example, for me, when I was going to start teaching this course last summer, I read the whole textbook on my phone, and I would like, especially when I was camping, it was cool. And then I would like be able to highlight right in the book. And then when I got back, I basically wrote, that's basically how I wrote out all my notes. Okay, so you could do that. You could get that with the printed text, or just get the straight printed text. Again, you're going to probably have a wait on ordering anything physical. In some ways, you can get access to the ebook for the next 3 months or 180 days, way more than 3 months. That's terrible math, like 5 months or whatever. So now I'm gonna just keep going, okay? Because now I'm like, oh, should I restart? Because my math's all shady. But you can do the math in your head. It's like you can either get it for half a year, I should have just said, or you can get it for lifetime. Half a year would basically get you to the end of both courses probably. So this might be the nice option for you. Okay, so back to the video, and let's pretend that I did that math calculation super fast and it was really smooth. Cheers, love you. Stop recording. All right, so I haven't actually been very clear about this at all, and I wanted to add some information about the weekly schedule. I was kind of so focused on trying to get out the first couple weeks of content that at this point you've been exposed to the presentations for Introduction to Developmental Psych. I've just recently released the second part to complete Biological Beginnings, and now the next thing I'm going to do after this video is start working on the video for your first assignment. Okay, so can we just table that for a second? We're going to do the first assignment. It's going to be called Giants of Psychology, and I'm going to come out with a video on that probably later today. Okay, and then so that's going to be this week. I'm just going to kind of give a quick overview. Then next week, we're going to get into the physical and cognitive development in infancy. That's going to be chapter 3, and we're going to do a quick quiz on that. Then I'm going to do a special presentation. I call it Determinants of Psychological Health, and there's no task for you associated with that. Next, you'll see socio-emotional development in infancy. So chapter 4, social emotional development in infancy, and the second quiz. So what I wanted to really state is the quiz is going to be on that specific chapter, and that's it. Okay, so quiz 2 is going to be, for example, covering chapter 4. It's not going to be touching chapter 3, and certainly not chapter 5, 6, and 7. Then we're going to do the second workshop, which I'm calling Philosophies of Mind, and I'll explain that later too. And then chapter 5, 6, 7, so physical and cognitive development in childhood, social emotional development in childhood, and then physical and cognitive development in adolescence. And then by that point, we've basically done the textbook component of this course. Okay, so including 2 other special presentations. So the 2 special presentations are the psychological determinants of health and then psychology of dreams. All right, now one point that I want to make is I know that your school this year and these last few years has been weird with the pandemic and everything. I wanted to try to give some flexibility. So what I'm doing is I'm making all the quizzes due at the end. Okay, so you can do this whenever it makes sense for you. Now, even though I said that, it would almost make more practical sense for you to say, for example, watch my recording next week on, and I'll try to usually come out with them Friday. Sometimes it might go into the weekend, but especially with the last one where you have more limited time, I'll make sure that that's out early. That my goal here isn't to stress you with time. I want you to be able to sit down and watch it when you have some time, take some notes on it, go back over your notes once or twice, and then do the test or the quiz, right? So these quizzes are 10% each. So I kind of have it set up that there's these 5 quizzes that are worth 10% each. So that's half your mark, 50%. And then 2 assignments that are each worth 25. And the idea is to, there's no need to make this course all scary with super confusing assignments. I want you to try to have fun with this. And I'm kind of holding back. So I'm going to get in the next video about, I'm going to get really into this idea of Giants of Psychology and how I want you to approach that assignment. Right, but for now, I wanted to kind of highlight this idea of due dates. So if you're taking notes into your calendar, the first digital workshop, which I'm going to talk about today, is going to be due on October 8th. So that's the first thing that you actually have due to me. All right. The second one is going to be due on November 12th. And you can kind of see this weekly course schedule is available on the website under course information, I believe. I know that everybody, at Conestoga, we call them instructional plans, and at Nipissing, they call them syllabuses or course outlines. But I find that sometimes students like a just straight up weekly calendar. This is what we're doing. This is when things are due. You only have, you have 7 things due, which sounds like a lot, but really if you say you have these 5 quizzes that are going to be related to chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you have these 2 other workshops. And all I mean by workshop is I'm going to do a presentation on something and then give you an assignment. And usually in last year, people had fun with them. So, okay, so this is I'm cutting this video to throw it in the PowerPoint to rip that video about due dates. All right, love you. Cheers. And stop recording. Next video coming soon will be on Giants of Psychology, your first assignment. So I hope you're excited and not nervous about it. It's going to be fun, and information on that coming out later today. Cheers. Have a great one. Thanks for being such a great class, and I'll see you soon.